Huh?
Is it far? Where do you want number you from? Actual number. Same number. Why? We have to go to the same number.
On July 7th, 2021 at about 1:30 a.m., a 43-year-old mother was found dead in her bedroom in Stalybridge, Greater Manchester. She was brutally beaten and stabbed while her child slept in the room next door. Hours earlier, mother of two, Tamara Padi, had been out with coworkers celebrating another hard day's work. What no one knew then was that someone had been waiting for her.
Damn. Who is this? Original gas machine. Come on.
Yes!
Unfortunately for Tamara Padi, her ex-husband, Aubrey, believed that rather than remaining divorced from him, she was better off dead. This is the story of a woman who was murdered by her ex-husband of 14 years, a man she had trusted with her life, and the father of her two children. Before we get into our story, we would love to extend our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Tamara Padi. Also, we would like to take this crime case as a close reminder to all of us still living to let go of abusive relationships. Tamara Padi was born in Buttersworth, also known as Kua, in the Eastern Cape Province, South Africa. She lived in Khayelitsha, Cape Town, when she was just 26 years old. Her husband, Aubrey, was also from South Africa and an employee of the South African Navy. They fell in love and started making life plans together. Together, they decided to settle and look for better job opportunities. So they relocated to the United Kingdom in 2004. Tamara yearned to further her academics so much so that after the move, she enrolled in a bachelor's program in law at the University of Bolton in 2012, and then a master's program in law at the University of Salford, where she successfully graduated in 2017. After studying, she worked for the municipality in Manchester. Although she was a private person who did not discuss her marriage in the office, people described her as a bubbly, fun person and very kind. Not only did she have a knack for academics, but Tamara also enjoyed exploring the world and the fine things in life. When you look at her social media posts, you would see that she loved visiting the beach, going on picnics, and most importantly, spending time with her family. Tamara would post pictures of her children on their birthdays and also videos of her goofing around with them.
Elderflower, toxic water,
It says tonic, not toxic.
I know.
Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Yes,
It's no surprise she was described as bubbly and full of life. She was also very beautiful and stylish because all of her outfits on her social media posts were dramatic, and she wore makeup to look good. Tamara was also adventurous as she visited popular tourist locations like Paris, France. In 2021, Tamara was at a good stage in life. Some of Tamara's former colleagues in the UK were interviewed and told the Sunday Times that she was an amazing woman and that she was at the height of her career. It is unusual for immigrants to be so successful that they have their own company, but friends reported that Tamara opened her own company in the UK a few years before her untimely demise. The couple had launched a business called Greenleaf Health and Social Care Limited, a care provision company for adults. The company was registered in 2018 and both Aubrey and Tamara were listed as the directors. On her LinkedIn, Tamara is listed as a caregiver in the company. It would seem like when she had free time, both she and Aubrey would do these care jobs in addition to their daytime jobs. Another friend said that their last communication with Tamara was about healthy living and how to maintain a good diet. This was also one of Tamara's interests because even at the age of 43, she looked very healthy and physically fit. Nothing seemed amiss, so people were very shocked to hear what happened to Tamara Padi. Let's get on to her marriage and where it all started to go downhill.
Another one. I wonder what's in here. I've got this already.
Gold. Oh my god.
Another one.
Okay, another one. Another one. Another one.
Tamara was married to Aubrey Padi for a total of 14 years, and they were blessed with two beautiful daughters, Tia and Mia, with Tia being 15 years old and Mia being 10 years old. It seemed like their relationship turned sour over the years because in early 2021, the two had separated but did not officially go through the divorce process. Despite their differences, both parents remained friends for the sake of their children. After their separation in February, Tamara moved to a new house with the children.
We are going with my own.
Hey girl.
No? My favorite human being.
It would seem like even as they tried to remain friends for the sake of the children, all was not well with their relationship. Although Tamara was a secretive and cautious woman, 2 weeks before Aubrey killed her, Tamara shared with her friend her discomfort when she realized Aubrey was secretly listening to her voicemails. She said that she had found the behavior creepy and that he was driving her away from him. Honestly, her feelings were valid. Why should her ex-husband still hover over her, going through the contents of her phone? Worse, her voicemails. It all seemed too strange, and this was the primary factor in her decision to distance herself from Aubrey. Unfortunately, the two still met once in a while. A day before Tamara was killed on July 6th, Aubrey was in her vehicle and he had requested Tamara give him her phone to use. At this point, Tamara did not trust that he would not check her messages again, so she declined. This caused her to see a darker side of Aubrey as he assaulted her by hitting her in the face, further insisting that she respected his demands. Aubrey was a confused man who tried to get sympathy despite slapping her because later, that evening, he sent a series of text messages. Some of them included apologies for his behavior earlier, while others were threat messages. One of these threat messages included one which said, "This is the last time you have disrespected me." Although this message was strange, Tamara did not think that Aubrey would take action the very next day. At the end of the day, she was the mother of his children, and this was a man that she owned a business with. It wasn't unusual that she did not report these messages to the police or to any of her friends. Maybe it was also his usual habit to send these sorts of messages. However, in the most sinister and mind-boggling way, an unfortunate tragedy takes place in her home the very next day. On the 7th of July 2021, 43-year-old Tamara Padi returned to her home in Greater Manchester, United Kingdom at around 1:30 a.m., the new home that she had moved to with 2 children. She had returned from a night care visit, hoping to get a few hours of sleep, but she wasn't alone. Tamara's colleague slept downstairs, so she went upstairs to her bedroom and got ready for bed, but she did not know that in the same room, her ex-husband was lying in wait for her. Aubrey Padi had hidden in her home after letting himself in. The court was told that he was armed with a hammer, knives, gloves, and a length of cord. So this was a planned murder. He knew exactly what he was going to do before he even stepped foot in that house. At exactly 3:30, his alarm went off and he set out to carry out his mission. He wanted to be sure that she was in bed and asleep when he attacked her. He brutally hit her with a metal exercise bar. She fought back and sustained many defensive wounds on her body. After all the aggressive hitting and struggle, he assumed she was dead and decided to flee the scene. In his attempt to flee, Tamara continued to scream out in pain. It was then that Padi turned around, went upstairs and stabbed her multiple times with the knives he brought with him, ensuring that she was dead before leaving this time around. All the while, the co-worker who was sleeping downstairs just like their daughter who slept in the next room did not wake up to witness the attack directly. The friend saw Aubrey come downstairs and go back upstairs to finish the job. As he was leaving the property, he instructed the co-worker to call 999. She was an eyewitness and provided the police with all necessary information indicating that it was her ex-husband who was responsible. Aubrey's crime only took 10 minutes because it was by 3:40 a.m. that the ambulance was called, even without the co-worker's testimony. After Aubrey Padi ran away, he rang 999 and confessed to an ambulance control center call operator, adding that he was going to kill himself. "I am sorry for what I have done, but she deserved it," he said to the operator. An ambulance arrived shortly after, and she was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead later on. Is it really a confession or an apology when you end the sentence with, "she deserved it"? It is clear that Aubrey was a deeply disturbed man who took action first and thought about the consequences later. Aubrey already assaulted Tamara before killing her, and even then he would apologize but also let it end with threats. This sort of behavior probably slowly grew until he was able to convince himself to take his crimes to the next level, which was murder. Aubrey was arrested later after he told officers where he was. He had drunk whiskey and taken paracetamol, maybe in an attempt to kill himself. Thankfully, he was unsuccessful and apprehended instead to pay for his crimes lawfully. Aubrey was taken into custody and charged with the murder of his wife. He was given 23 years in prison before being considered for parole. Judging from the amount of items he had along with him that night, the court claimed that it was a premeditated murder, seeing that he came so prepared. Moreover, the fact that he went back a second time to stab her multiple times sealed his fate. The real question now is, what could have prompted such an action? Was he so upset that he had to kill her? We may never know the true reason why, because Aubrey cried in court as he was sentenced. This may be out of guilt, or maybe he was just sad that he was going to jail. Judge Nichols said concerning Aubrey's call that, "Some suggest that you must have suffered a breakdown. However, no medical evidence nor any evidence has been presented to suggest that mental health issues had any part to play in this offense. You may have been stressed and distressed by your work and or divorce, but neither explain the brutality displayed. Like so much violence against women, you tried to place the blame upon the victim, suggesting that she had wronged you and that you were driven to this conduct, even going so far as to say she deserved it. And what type of parental love is it that lies alongside your child while waiting to murder her mother? There are no excuses and no fault lies with the victim, Tamara. This offense is entirely your responsibility. No woman should have to endure at the hands of a man what Tamara did in her final hours." At the time of the incident, Sathosa, spokesperson for Tamara's family, expressed that they were still in disbelief.
Olulama called me, I think it was 5 minutes after 12. I could not make up what she was saying. She kept on saying, "Akona, Tamara." She minced her words. I wasn't sure what's happening because I was with my sister when Tamara called 2 days before. Because I was also confused, I called to Tamara, if only I can ring. Because when I call her, I always use WhatsApp. Whether the phone is on or off, sometimes WhatsApp would ring. I just thought, what is Lulama talking about? Because Tamara's phone is ringing. I called Akona, who was standing here. Akona was my maid of honor, by the way, in my wedding. Akona, I just got a call from Olulama. I'm not sure what she's going on about, what is happening. And Akona said, Sam, it's true. And they're like, what is true? She also minced her words and said there's an article. She got a call from Omili, she's not sure. As a person who's lived in the UK, I know exactly what to do. I just went on Google and I tapped Tamara Padi. She was already trending on the headlines. They've shown her car, I knew her car, and I knew Akona was referring to Tamara. I started searching the news, trying to understand what had transpired. And it was confirmed by the newspaper that she was killed by her estranged husband, Aubrey Padi. I think it took me about 2 hours to process the sad news. I kept on thinking about the kids, Uti and Omia, because these are children, they are underage. I started calling the embassy, trying to get the numbers for the detectives in Manchester. They didn't want to issue any information because it was still very early, and at the time Aubrey was referred to as the suspect. I managed to get Millie's number, who was Tamara's best friend in Manchester, and she told me the story that is also trending, and she also didn't have enough information. I kept thinking about the kids. At that moment,
Stephen Meadowcraft, QC, defending Aubrey, said that those who knew Tamara and Aubrey were very shocked by the news of what had happened. The court heard Aubrey was described as a calm and caring man with a gentle nature. He was also a loving dad. It is possible that he was very good at hiding his true nature from the public. His defense also told the court that Aubrey had no previous convictions and had pleaded guilty immediately, and asked if that could be considered when sentencing him. It could be because of this reason that he only got a minimum of 23 years in prison, plus a life sentence. In the UK, the judge must impose a life sentence for murder and follow guidance on the minimum amount of time the offender must be in prison before being considered for release. This means that if Aubrey behaves poorly in prison, he will definitely not be getting out in 23 years and could spend the rest of his life in prison. In an article by The Correspondent, the daughters of Tamara, Tia, and Mia are found paying tribute to their late mother. The oldest, Tia, said, "When I woke up to this today, it just didn't feel the same knowing you weren't here, knowing that the most important woman in my life is no longer here with me. I not only lost my mom, but also my best friend all at once. You always were such a happy and outgoing soul. You always knew how to put a smile on my face just by being your crazy happy self. I hope you know that you were and still are loved by everyone, and I will make sure to take good care of Mia for you. I love you." Tamara's second daughter, Mia, added, "Tamara was my mom and my friend. She was always there for me and loved me. She said that she loved how I could comfort her in the most hopeless of situations. She promised that I would never have a reason to cry. I've come to realize crying is natural, so today I will cry. I love my mom." Tamara was a mother, a friend, a sister, and a daughter. She was cherished by those who knew her, and her presence brought light into the lives of many. Today, that light has dimmed because of a man who she trusted. In a sad irony, Tamara's last Instagram post was a picture of her wearing a black dress with the caption, "You know what they say, when in doubt, wear black. That happened to me last night, and this black number saved the night." Black is usually a color that is associated with funerals, and it's just ironic that despite all the colorful outfits she wore on several occasions on Instagram, for her last post, she was wearing a black dress. As we reflect on Tamara's story, we must also acknowledge the courage it takes to come forward and speak out against abuse. Domestic violence is a reality that many face silently, often out of fear, shame, or isolation. Tamara's story is a heartbreaking reminder of how dangerous and devastating abusive relationships can be. For anyone watching this, please know that help is available. You don't have to suffer in silence. There are resources and organizations dedicated to supporting those who are experiencing abuse. If you or someone you know is in a dangerous situation, reach out. You deserve to be safe. You deserve to be heard. And you deserve to live without fear. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much once again for watching another video by Wednesday Crime. If you like the way we bring you stories or you learned something new today, please like this video and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet. As always, remember to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Perhaps someone learns from your experience or advice. I will talk to you again in another video. It's bye for now.